Attention A1 Trading Show fans, if you're looking to get funded, we've got a solution for you. Our partnered prop firm FX2 Funding helps traders get access to up to $200,000 in trading capital. FX2 Funding is not your average prop firm. We've chosen them as our partner because of their fair examination rules, their professional and available customer service, and they have an outstanding reputation in the prop firm space. Here's a quick look at their evaluation process. First, they don't have a time limit on their evaluations. That means that you can take your time when passing your evaluation. There's no pressure to rush your trading. Second, there is only one phase to pass in their evaluation before getting access to your funded account. Also, their evaluation fees are fairly priced and fully refundable upon passing. Once you're funded, you'll be able to keep up to 85% of your trading profits. Finally, a rule we know swing traders will love, you can hold your positions over the weekend. For a limited time, get 15% off any of their account challenges with promo code A1Trading15. That's 15% off any account challenge with code A1Trading15. If you're ready to get funded, we're dropping a link in the chat right now, and you can also find it in the description down below. So go ahead and get signed up today for 15% off with promo code A1Trading15. Now, back to the show.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another A1 Trading Show here, taking a look at setups for the day and week ahead. Of course, I'm joined here at the start with James, who you just saw in that video before this. Hey, James, what's going on? And what are we looking at here on the radar today?
Hey, so I'm doing good, Nick. How are you?
I'm good.
So we took a little peek at this on Friday, and we do not have a lot going on this week. So if you can take a look at my screen here, we are taking a look at Monday, and we've got pretty much nothing. Tuesday, same deal. Wednesday will be a little bit of a bigger day. We do have PMI numbers. That's flash manufacturing and flash service PMI numbers for France, Germany, the UK, as well as the US. So those PMI numbers always come out on the same day together, and that'll definitely be a big market moving day. Very interested to see what happens there. Thursday, unemployment claims per usual. And Friday, I don't believe that there's a whole lot. We have, Fed Chair Powell has something to say. He's got something on his mind, apparently. And we do have revised consumer sentiment out of the University of Michigan as well. But a little bit of a slower week, but that's okay, because I think that that'll be a good thing, because we'll get to see the markets progress naturally. You know what I mean? We're not going to have big, crazy market moving events every day that's going to have you questioning, you know, is this thing about to fly? Is this thing about to plummet? We'll get a couple days to just kind of ease our way into it. Just let the markets progress like they naturally do until we get to those PMI numbers on Wednesday that might cause a little bit of a shift in the markets, but we'll just have to wait and see on that.
Yeah, PMI numbers should be big on Wednesday. And then, anytime Jerome Powell has something to say, it could move markets. And then there at the end of Friday, we actually have the ECB Lagarde speaking as well. So a little bit of Fed and ECB commentary towards the end of the week. But for the most part, it's a quieter start to this week, which actually might give us some opportunities to look for some good setups to kind of position ourselves ahead of the end of this week. James, thank you very much for the update on the reporting side of things, and we'll keep up with you on the next show.
Sure. Thank you.
See ya. All right, guys. So taking a look here at gold. Gold is it's trying to break out here. It actually looks like. I'm looking at the 1 hour chart here. And what we can see is that the 1 hour chart, last week we talked to no end about this downward structure in the markets, right? We're now seeing a little bit of a breakout to the upside. So for gold bears, myself included, you guys know I shorted gold several times last week, and I didn't take the re-entry here. Honestly, I was really thinking about it, so I'm not going to act like, I just wouldn't have taken that trade. I actually looked at that trade this morning, and I thought about taking it. Ultimately, I decided not to, just because by the time I had looked at it, it was already starting to break out. And so I was like, you know what, let's wait and see how this candle closes. So to be fair, had this candle closed, with a wick on top, I probably would have shorted it, but I am not in any trades on gold. And honestly, I'm watching to see how these next few candles form, because what I'm saying, or what I'm seeing here is, we had this super strong downtrend where every time price would come into this zone, you would get like a wick off the top and sellers would take back over and push it lower, right? Well, we haven't been seeing that as of this morning. And so I'm going to just be cautious. I'm not going to rush into a trade. Again, I had 3 back-to-back winning short positions on gold last week. And so, you know, I'm not trying to get greedy. I'm trying to just wait for another setup, do what I'm supposed to do in my strategy and keep it pushing kind of thing. What do you think about USDJPY, says Darius. Darius, let's take a look at USDJPY. USDJPY. Take a look at this one. So the dollar yen has been really strong recently. And, you know, I'll start on the 4-hour chart here. So 4-hour chart has just been really strong, right? You know, when you look at like a strong upward trending market like this, you know, off of the daily, even you could really go all the way back. I still think, you know, we've retested this previous high. The question now for markets has got to be off the daily chart. Are we going to go back and retest the very, very extremities of this previous uptrend? And, you know, the thing is it likely to happen? Well, the daily chart still looks very strong. So, you know, you can take that with you even at the lower time frame level, right? If you're day trading, if you're swing trading, it does look like it still has room to go up, which is crazy because again, these extremes happened during peak fears about interest rate hikes. And you know, we've kind of seen that come off the highs, but now markets are kind of pricing in this idea that, you know, the dollar strength recently, you could make a very strong case that the dollar strength recently is partially due to essentially rates not necessarily going higher, but staying elevated for a longer period of time. That's what's causing the dollar to really strengthen and why bonds are being sold off. You know, the yields continue to rise. These are fundamental factors that really contribute to a strong dollar. So right now, dollar yen looks strong, euro dollar. You know, I'm looking mostly on the dollar strength side of things, and so that's kind of where I am at with you know, with several currency pairs and things like that. I have been trading gold a lot. I'm going to probably pause and just wait to see what happens. As I mentioned, with this downward structure, if you're a bull here today, you know, you're seeing some progress here. If you are a bull on gold, this is the first time in a little bit, I would say, that you have kind of some promising bullish market structure coming into this market. And what I mean by that is, you know, clean downward market structure last week has now kind of given way. We've broken out of that structure, pulling back into it. And the question will be, will bulls push off this low? Am I buying it? No. The reason I'm not buying it is because I use fundamentals to pick a direction, and then I use technicals to enter trades. So I'll say that again. I use fundamentals. Like I'm looking at what's really driving the markets. That's what's helping me pick a direction. And then I'm using technical analysis, you know, trend lines, support and resistance, to actually place entries, stop losses, you know, trailing stops, that sort of thing. So let's take a look. Speaking of fundamentals, let's see what's popping up on the top of our list here today. So we have bearish readings on things like the pound USD, the euro USD, Aussie CAD, NZD USD, AUD USD. If you guys are watching and you are trading any of these things, we have bearish readings on some of the dollar crosses. And we also have some very bullish readings up here. Euro Aussie, dollar CAD, pound Aussie, dollar ZAR, dollar yen. These things are considered generally more bullish. Okay. So how are we getting these scores and biases? If you take a look at the top of the screen here, we have all these different metrics, things like interest rates, unemployment figures in each country, inflation figures, GDP growth, trends, seasonal data, retail sentiment, and of course, the commitment of traders data, which tells us what institutional money is buying and selling. So here's the thing, right? What we do here is this software that you're looking at, if you're newer to the streams, it takes into account lots of different economic figures and things like that to generate a score. The algorithm basically takes in all of this data, scores everything accordingly, and gives us a general bias up or down on each different currency pair and commodity and asset thing that we're trading, right? So gold is still getting a bearish reading, but this morning, as I mentioned, I don't love the price action. However, you know, if you're more of a 4-hour chart trader, we'll watch to see how these candles close. But again, you had this impressive pop to the upside. Now it's seeing some resistance come in. But again, I don't love that, you know, this downward structure that we traded pretty flawlessly last week, has been a little challenged here this morning. So I'm just being very, very cautious on gold. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Do you guys think gold is bullish, bearish? Do you think it's overdone? Do you think we're oversold and going to rally back up? Would you trade currency pairs that have the same interest rates, Nick? Sure, sometimes. Not usually. Usually I do like the ones that have divergences. Like if I'm going to trade currency pairs, it's usually like dollar yen, euro dollar. But I truthfully, I don't trade a ton of currency pairs. I do tend to find myself trading indices and gold a little bit more. S&P 500, same kind of structure. We're seeing a little bit of a breakout here. If you're watching the indices, this is impressive, right? You had this downward structure that seems to kind of be getting challenged here this morning. Am I bullish on the indices? Not yet. I'm watching to see. Again, I think we might do the COT data. I think Frank is probably going to join us, and we'll do that in just a few moments. But we'll take a look at the commitment of traders data. We'll see what institutional money is doing. If you guys want those insights, just stick around on the show. We will be doing those together in just a bit. The Dow Jones also seeing a little bit of strength, actually retesting this kind of structure here. Question will be, are indices going to rally this week? That indices have been getting beat up a little bit. It's possible that we have a rotation back into, indices. Here's the NASDAQ popping very nicely here this morning. So if you're watching indices, retests could be interesting. Let's go back to EDGEFINDER, get some stuff that I'm actually biased on. So usually, for those of you who are newer to the streams, what you'll notice is that I usually go back to this tab. This is the watch list signals tab on our software. This is where I find trading setups. So if it's not on this list, it's very rare that I'm going to be trading it. And if it is on this list, I'm usually going to be going in the direction that you see on this list. So like, for example, dollar CAD. We have a very bearish reading. What that is telling me is that, if, in fact, I could probably, let's take a look. Let's take a look at dollar CAD. So I don't love dollar CAD's kind of loss of structure here, right? Loved it last week. If you caught dollar CAD, congrats. This was a beautiful mover last week. Seems like it's kind of lost a little bit of its steam here. I'll probably wait for it to form something a little bit stronger. So we'll move on from dollar CAD. Pound Aussie getting a very, very strong reading. Pound Aussie, not one that I usually trade, but let's look at it. Pound Aussie 4-hour chart. Let's drop down to the 1 hour. Probably going to be choppy on the 1 hour. Yeah, a little bit choppy for me here. I like usually to see markets that are kind of doing this structure. So we're going to move on. I'm going to be kind of rapid fire today. I'm just going to go through a lot. So we did Pound Aussie, we did dollar CAD. Let's do Euro Aussie. Potential bullish reading here. Again, pretty choppy. Probably not a setup for me based on the technicals. So as you guys are watching this, if you're newer to the streams, I'm using this to help me find general setups, right, or general biases directionally, and then I'm using the technical analysis components to actually look for setups. So let's go to dollar yen. Is dollar yen, this is the question, is dollar yen at a point where I could look to potentially buy it? And my answer would be probably not for now, right? We rallied. If you were long, right, I was actually watching this. You can see my analysis from last week. I was looking for a pullback into this 38.2. We didn't quite get there, and the train has left the station. So no setups for me on dollar yen. Pound New Zealand, probably going to look a lot like pound Aussie, so we'll skip it. Dollar Swiss, take a quick look at dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss here. Pretty choppy, to be honest. Probably not a setup for me. Bitcoin, I don't really trade it too often. Swiss yen. So these ones are going to be kind of too light of a reading. +3 is probably too light for me to really get interested. We've already talked about gold. Let's talk about some of the extremes, Euro USD and Pound USD. So Euro USD I traded last week quite a bit. So let's take a look at the hourly. Rejecting off of this level of resistance here. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I would honestly like to see this thing kind of break structure lows, get kind of going, because it kind of went sideways for me. So, and again, I hope that, when you watch these stream guys, this is going to happen, right? You're just going to get days where you just have to look at a ton of charts to even really get an idea. Like Pound USD, getting a bearish reading, but technicals are not quite there for me. What I'd be looking at for Pound USD traders, I'm looking for a breakout through the lows. If it happens, that would be interesting this week. So nothing immediately setting up for me on pound USD as well. Aussie CAD. Let's take a quick look at Aussie CAD. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. Not quite ready for anything. And last one I'll look at is AUDUSD. See what's going on with the Australian dollar, US dollar, and nothing immediate. So kind of a little bit of a slow start here. I don't have any trades open and I don't have anything that is immediately on my watch list, but we're going to now do a little bit of a segment here with Frank. We're going to take a look at the commitment of traders data here. We do this every Monday. We go through what the latest is saying. So let's go ahead and bring Frank in and we'll do the COT data here. Hey, Frank, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. So we talked a little bit about this morning. COT data wise, what's on our immediate watch list? Most interesting stuff.
Okay, so commodities aren't looking very good. They are not buying gold. They did a little bit, but they're outnumbered in the number of short contracts. They're selling gold pretty clearly. S&P, NAS, they're being bought pretty aggressively, so that's something I've been looking at. I just entered a long trade a few minutes ago before the live
S&P?
stream on the S&P.
Okay.
And it's due to that, and also the way it closed Friday. Just the way the candle looked, it was like a pin bar, and pretty much at break even. So this morning's recent sort of push upwards was, I guess, some optimism for me. So I'm looking to hopefully be in at the lows here before the S&P starts turning around. And could you scroll down to the positional bias thing and filter it to the S&P, because I think this is definitely something very important to look at, is the positional bias. Whenever it loads, you'll see the bars when it's below that horizon, that horizontal line. That's a bearish view, but once you go above it, it's a bullish leaning sentiment. And so we've been in the bearish sentiment ever since we built this tool. So the only thing that we can notice, though, is from early June up until now, that sentiment, the bearish sentiment, has been slowly and steadily declining and getting closer and closer to kind of an even playing field for a COT. But
this is really powerful, Frank, just being able to see this. So we have, so like this, the basic idea is we're looking at the positioning week over week of the S&P 500. And what we can see is like there's a clear rise in bullish interest. Now, of course, there was peak short interest. Now it's kind of fading. And now we're actually starting to see, like you said, we're heading back to the 0 point, which above this would be just a clear bullish preference on S&P.
Right. So we are, if we were to just look at who is more short or more long than the other, we would have like bearish sentiment on the S&P like this entire year. But no, you and I have been buying, and it's because we're looking at this sort of change. And it's not just 1 week at a time, but we've seen this for the past 2 or so months of sentiment flipping, and interest rates are still high. So, there's that fear that yields will continue to rise as well, but smart money is still buying this. So
and just last point about the S&P 500, I wanted to point out. So you mentioned that this week we had some good data. For those of you guys who are watching the Commitment of Traders data, we do this, of course, every week on Monday. Frank and I jump on here. We just cover kind of the latest figures. What's really interesting that Frank is pointing out too is that look at the S&P 500. So on the S&P 500, we see a huge increase in the number of long contracts being opened up. So we got big increase in buys, but maybe more important even is that look at the number of short contracts change this past week. And we actually see a decline of 23,000 plus contracts. That's showing us that essentially they're opening up long contracts, and the shorts that were open, they're getting closed, right? So we're seeing closes on the short side and we're seeing opens on the long side. This is a pretty bullish week. And, you know, although the percent overall is still kind of in the negative territory, this change is a very bullish increase in positive sentiment. So yeah, very, very interesting week there in the COT data. Frank, thank you for coming on quickly. We got Ivan coming on in just a moment, so I don't want to keep him waiting too long. Thank you for coming on, giving us a little bit of COT updates, and we'll catch you back in the next one.
Sure. Thanks.
Thanks, Frank. Yep. Guys, also the commitment of traders data that we're using here, this tool is something that our company builds. It is called the A1 Edge Finder. And if you would like a copy of this software sent to you, you can use this on your browser, on your phone, wherever you're at. If this is a tool that you think would be useful to you in your trading, here's what we're going to do. If you guys would like a tour or you'd like more information, we're going to drop a link to essentially sign up for a tour. It is a form here that you fill out. So click this link. It's being dropped in the chat right now. It is a form to check out and try out the Edge Finder. If this is a tool that you think would be useful to you, click this link, fill it out. And again, we'll give you some more information. We do have a free course on how to use the COT data. All of that stuff comes with it for free if you fill out that form. So yeah, check it out. All right, guys, we're going to now go to Ivan in just a moment. We're going to thank our sponsors here, and then we're going to go meet up with Ivan to see what he is looking at in terms of trade setups here today. So we'll be right back with Ivan right after this.
Attention A1 Trading Show fans. If you're interested in getting free access to the Edge Finder or our premium trade alerts, listen up. For a limited time, our show's partnered broker 8cap is giving out free access to our products when you sign up for a new trading account with them. If you already have a broker, you may want to consider switching to 8cap because of their low trading costs, a wide range of trading assets, and their amazing customer support. If you'd like to get access to our software and Discord server for free, click the link being dropped in the chat right now and ask one of our team members for more information. Don't miss your chance for free products and an award-winning broker. Now back to the A1 Trading Show.
All right, Ivan, what's going on, man? Welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It's good to have you back on, of course. Ivan has been joining us. For those of you guys who are newer to the show, Ivan is one of our coaches here inside of the Discord community. He does coaching webinars. He works one-on-one with many traders. He is someone who's been doing it for quite a while, like myself and Frank, and it's always good to have you back on the show, Ivan. Ivan, what is on the radar for you? What are you watching here today? Do you have any trades open? What's the latest?
Today is the day I've been waiting for. Today is the start of my seasonality. I am expecting yen pairs to go higher. It has been a fantastic day. It's just a day, but yeah. I'm expecting today be the bottom of the yen pairs. I think we're going to go higher. I think we're going to peak around 13th of September, a bit before that. So we're going to fall then. So for me, everything has been great because we have turned around. Most yen pairs have turned bullish short term at least. So I'm just waiting to buy. I'm like waiting for this pullback right now. So I might pull a trigger on across all the yen pairs in a few moments.
Okay. Ivan, do you mind resharing your screen? For some reason, it doesn't seem to be loading right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think your screen is deciding to take an extended weekend today. If you reshared, it should work, though.
I could just use your screens.
You could, but I think your screen should work. There it is. We got you now.
All right. Okay. Right. Fair enough. Yeah. So this morning I made a trade plan. I wanted price to break above 93.45 at Aussie yen, which it did. I'm just waiting for it to come back down, which is currently doing. Yeah. CAD yen was a bit much more power than I expected it to be, but you know, I wanted to have a pullback there. Didn't happen. But overall, we are quite high. And my favorite one is Euro Yen, of course, which almost came down to 157.50, which I wanted it to go higher from. But I also hope that if it comes back to 155, 153, whatever those prices are called, I would love that because we're quite high. It hasn't really gone down to the low I wanted, even though Friday gave us a low. So I'm just going to give us a rundown here. Why am I expecting yen pairs to go higher? Because I'm expecting yen to go lower until Bank of Japan changes their policy. This generally happens every year, and I have traded this kind of every year, and I'm expecting somewhere in the regions of 10,000 pips.
Okay, dang, that's a big idea, but no, it makes sense. I mean, the Bank of Japan has been they've been threatening interventions. So you think that that's kind of not going to happen? You think that you know, yen could be continuously weak and stay strong over crosses could stay strong?
I don't want them to do it. That would just crush my plan.
Sure.
That's kind of the thing is I've done this every year, and Bank of Japan is the first year they are threatening to do it, and yens are still weakening. So my problem is CPI, inflation, and Bank of Japan until they start changing around their policy. I'm going to do whatever I'm going to normally doing. It doesn't change me. I am worried about it, even though there's going to be like a major news event, like risk event. I don't care. I'm still going to wait. I'm still going to do my my trade plans. I'm expecting 300 to 400 to 500 pips. Now, depending on the pair. Now, that might not come. Might come today. Might come within the next 4 weeks. The thing is, the whole clue here is it's going to be a pullback. It's not going to go into the moon. It's going to come back down again. And the most important thing is to never give up. Always look for your trade reversal if it starts to go bearish. And if I say that, well, this might be the peak or this might be an end to something, if you're holding more than that, you're on your own, because I expect this to go up and then all the way down, 100% back down again. So if you do hold, it's on your own. It's on your own, by the way. But I'm hoping that I can hold my trade until December.
Okay, yeah, Ivan, I want to show you something. So just to go along with your point. So Ivan just made the point concept of seasonal bullishness against the yen, right? Or basically weak yen coming. I pulled this chart up while you were talking about it, and I think this is perfect to illustrate this point. So if you guys are newer viewers, you know, Ivan, he talks a lot about seasonality, right? This concept of different parts of the year, different days of the week, different weeks of the month. There's different ways to kind of measure general market moves that are observable over time. And so seasonality is it's a real thing. It's a very powerful thing in markets, and understanding what is likely to happen during, in this case, you know, the way I'm looking at it month to month. I know Ivan does kind of more of a week to week and sort of thing, but just this concept here, I want to go off this point. So September, we're coming in, and I've got selected here the dollar against the Japanese yen. So as we close out of August, historically, the last 10 years, on average, you take all that data, every trading month of September in the last 10 years have averaged out to a noticeably bullish dollar yen of about 0.79%. Now, that's actually a pretty good bit of movement on a currency pair, because currency pairs don't move all that much percentage wise. But we see not only in September, we saw October is historically 1.11%, and November is 1.27%. Notably, this dollar strength, I think we lost Ivan's camera. He's gone missing. Maybe you just had to. I think your camera might have died or something. We'll let him sort it out for a second. So anyways, to make the point, we are coming into a seasonally bullish part of the year. You know, September, October, November. Ivan keeps talking about, you know, yen crosses. Here's dollar yen, right? So we're expecting the dollar yen to start strengthening in the coming months. So this is something that, you know, you guys should really be paying attention to, at least acknowledging like, hey, there are some trends that I should be aware of. And so this is why we've built the seasonal trends data that we have. Noticeably, you guys know I love trading the S&P 500. We're coming into seasonally some of the worst historical parts of the year, right? September and October, right? Which would make a lot of sense given that we just talked about potential dollar strength against the yen specifically. But again, seasonality wise, very interesting time of year that we're coming into. And again, I've just selected, you know, the S&P 500 now, but we were just looking at the dollar yen to give us a general idea of historically how these months tend to perform. So just a really, really important topic is to understand seasonal trends in the market. Ivan, you're back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Did your camera die?
Thank you. Nah, I don't know what. I don't know. Everything is. My headset doesn't work today sometimes. My camera goes off. If I put on the blur, it kind of messes up the frame rate. I don't know what's going on today. Maybe I just need to go back to bed.
It happens. No worries. Yeah, so I just tried to add a little bit of, while you were sorting out the camera, just seasonal data and how important it really can be in markets. I thought it was also interesting, Ivan, that we're, coming into probably not only just seasonal trends for the yen, but also seasonal weakness for the S&P 500 coming around September is historically a pretty tough month. Do you have any thoughts on that? So, I mean, would it make sense kind of, to look, you got the yen, you get the S&P 500. There's some interesting trends that are coming up here in the next few weeks and months.
Yeah, so what I do, and I would say September, by any chance, by any means, is a buying month for me. If you say it's going to go bearish, I'll be like, hallelujah. I will try to catch the bottom there. Either that or more like towards October, especially on S&P. That's when you will find me more active. But right now, I'm 100% on yen. Dollar kind of does something. Euro kind of does something. But I'm expecting quite an aggressive uptrend going forward, either this week, next week, or just a general continuation trade to the higher. So I'm just hoping and praying that people do remember that if you do decide to sell yen pairs, it's quite a uphill task if you decide to do so, because I have had traders done that before and they have been blasted. But
yeah, that's why I'm saying it's so important to at least acknowledge, seasonal trends. Ivan, we've been doing this together for a long time. We've looked at fundamentals, we look at seasonal data, we look at all this stuff. And I guess a question for you. Sometimes people say, I only look at the chart. I only look at the technical analysis side of things. What do you say to those people? I mean, obviously, you and I don't just use purely technical charts to make our decisions, but coming into, again, we're pointing out these seasonal trends and how important it is to acknowledge them. Here's dollar CAD. I pulled this one up. Dollar strength does seem to be kind of apparent in September and October, slightly, a little bit more in September, at least in the dollar CAD's case. But, what would you say to people who are, I purely trade technicals, coaching Ivan or Ivan's coaching session here? What would you say to him?
I will say, if that was the case for me and my profitability, if that was the case, I would do only technicals. I would always pivot and gravitate to where I would find profitability at max. But I found out that this is how many years ago? This is 6 years ago at least, where I'm like, why is yen pair so strong in August, September? Why does it go so fast, so quickly? And why is it like 300 pips in a week and I lost it? I was even trying to sell it. Like, why is this happening? It comes up from the why. Then I started digging into how can I benefit from that? And then I discovered something called seasonality. I didn't even know that, only because of me losing my trades and losing money. I'm like, this has to be something greater. And there is trends that I can't describe, I can't explain, but I can only see them.
Yes.
And it becomes like for me, seasonality and fundamentals becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. There is groups in the market that's like opposite, someone bullish, someone's bearish. But when the majority of the traders comes together and finds the same kind of direction, it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy, and it goes really quickly. So you really have to be on the ball before everything starts happening. And even now, it might even already have started.
Yeah, no, it's a real thing, and it's a real thing. Like you said, you don't even really have to explain it. You could perhaps throw out some theses why, certain things are happening different parts of the year, but it really, like you said, it really doesn't matter. If there are observable times in the market where the yen is weak, or observable times in the market where the dollar is strong, or the S&P 500 is strong or weak, right? If you can recognize these things and use them, these are built-in ways to find, search for edges in the market. This is why seasonal data is, again, something that, Ivan and I probably talk about this, every other week. So it's important stuff. It's really, really key to know where the market is likely based on its history to go next. Of course, is it certainties? No, there are anomaly years where it does the opposite or something like that. But often enough, it is a powerful thing. Modern Gameplay asked, so you're saying JPY will get stronger. So this may be confusing, but it's actually the opposite. We're saying Japanese yen will likely get weaker in the months of September, because we're saying, if we go back to that seasonal chart for a second, just dollar yen, right? We're saying looking at the dollar yen during the months of September, for example, that we're coming into, the dollar will be stronger than the yen on average the last 10 years by about 0.79%. So some slight preference to the upside on dollar Japanese yen, right? So we're saying yen weak, dollar strong, and of course for other crosses as well. That's the idea. So Ivan came on showing just kind of how there is some suggested potential yen weakness going into the next few weeks and month or two. So interesting stuff. So Ivan, Euro yen, is that the one you're watching the most?
Aussie, Euro,
okay,
CAD, New Zealand yen, pound yen, British pound yen is a bit of a wild card. In my backtesting, in my experience, it can go both ways. You need way higher stop losses to hold for the season. So I'm only going to trade that when it really trends higher. The other thing is, can I just say why I hate Bitcoin?
Why do you hate Bitcoin, Ivan?
Because on Thursday I transferred money out of my trading account, and the normal card like wire transfer was blocked. I couldn't do it. So I had to do Bitcoin. I had to do crypto. And while I was waiting for it to go through, I like the money got out of the account at 31,000, and when I got converted them into my kroner, it was 28 something.
I hate that for you. So basically, you like withdrew, and then like during that withdrawal, like processing, did that happen to you?
Yeah.
No.
Before I could convert them back to kroner, it like dropped on me.
I hate that. That's happened to me before though, Ivan. So that is the worst part about like I don't know. I wish the brokerages that do like transfers with crypto, I wish they would do Tether, because Tether doesn't like, pop and drop in transfer times, So I don't know. Anyways,
well,
yeah,
it's just so wild. I'm like, why can't you guys just send me the money as I put it in with a card, give it back to the card? Like, no, not today. So I now have another reason to not like Bitcoin. The volatility.
Yeah, that's a personal reason. That's frustrating. That's really, really annoying. Yeah, Bitcoin crazy dropped off a cliff here recently.
It wasn't Thursday. Of course, I had to pick that worst time of the month to do it.
Just bad luck. Yeah, gold continues to be pushing down here. Maybe they should just do their transfers in gold. That would be a lot easier, because then it would it would move, but not nearly percentage-wise as much.
That's true. Well, the thing with gold is pretty interesting, I would argue. As who did it? Bailout 88 said that you have to wait until like December for gold to be bullish. Seasonality radar doesn't talk specifically about August to be a fantastic good month. I think it's supposed to be bearish now, which it kind of is. So when it's not bullish, I'm kind of just staying away from it.
Yep, fair enough. Yeah, gold has been really under pressure due to all the China stuff, and I think fundamentally right now it makes a lot of sense to be very, very cautious on the bullish side. You have China is like the leading demander of raw materials, and if their economy is all slowing down, that coupled with projections for interest rates to stay elevated for a longer period of time, there's some bearish headwinds for gold right now. Will it be bullish? Sure, at some point, but right now it just seems like some headwinds. I've also just redrawn my trend line to adjust for this recent spike to the downside. This looks pretty strong here today, this morning. questionable to see, what happens if we start to get back down to the previous lows for gold sellers. Can we break through those lows? That's going to be the question. Or are we going to kind of triple bottom and break out? So we'll see. But for me, I would be kind of interested for a breakout, pullback, and then shorting opportunity. On the short term, I don't mind it. So that's something I'm watching.
But why didn't you, if you're looking for short, why didn't you short one like 1890 something then? Or
18
up there.
like here?
Yeah.
Well, actually, so to be honest, I mentioned this earlier in the stream, Ivan. I was going to actually look to short right around here. But by the time I looked at it, so by the time I got like into the office and everything, the candle had already kind of formed this big breakout. So I was like, oh, well, you know what? I might have just accidentally dodged a bullet. Because if I had shorted this, if I'm being honest, I probably would have put my stop right above here. And I probably would have had a really frustrating morning. So I really got lucky with that. Because my stop loss 100% would have just gone up right above this. And then I would have had tons of comments saying, haha, your liquidity kind of thing.
You went to the
I am still short bias in the short term, but I think that I've missed the boat here this morning. So if I do take this trade, what it's going to look like for me is probably break, retest, lower low. We'll see, but that's aggressive. That's kind of a aggressive short, I would say.
Yeah. Do you know what I would call that trade from henceforth going forward?
What would you call it?
That's a bacon trade.
Bacon trade. Why is that? Bacon trade. Explain that.
You went to the slaughterhouse where all the pigs got slaughtered, turned into bacon.
Well, it wouldn't have been the first time, Ivan. That's happened to me, admittedly, plenty of times in my trading career. And people, we're joking around, Ivan, but of course, like for people in the audience who are like, yeah, that would have looked stupid. You're totally right. But no matter what you do with a stop loss, sometimes you are quote unquote liquidity. Sometimes you put a stop loss out there and you think you're being smart, right? Let's say instead I entered here, right, where everybody's stop losses, and I'm like, haha, I'll just put my stop loss up here. The next time around, what might happen is that it hits your entry and then it just does this. And then you're also liquidity, right? So you can always play the, you shoulda, coulda, woulda game, but it's frustrating when it happens. There's no question. But unfortunately, I didn't take the trade, so I got lucky.
Yeah. So Chandler, for henceforth going, every time you have a trade that goes quickly to stop loss, it's a bacon trade.
Bacon trade. That's a good name for it. I got taken immediately to the good old house. Yeah, that's no. We'll see what happens with gold. Still bearish pressure, and fundamentally short-term fundamentals to me look pretty bearish until we start to see some of this dollar strength crack, which I guess, Ivan, where are you at with the dollar? Are you what do you think? Dollar strength has been a lot longer lasting than I thought it would be. What do you think?
Well, I haven't looked at dollar for quite a while, to be honest. Mostly because it's just been bullish. It's been one direction.
You've been trading the yen a little bit more.
Yeah. Also, it's summer, so I'm like, whatever happens kind of a thing. And also, it's quite rangy at the end now. So I'm like, if it's just ranging, I'm not gonna bother when I have pips to catch on yen. So yeah, and also for euro yen, your dollar, sorry, it's bearish. Comes back up to 109 to sell it again. Sure, bearish to sell is clear as a day. Nah.
Yeah, it's definitely, like I said, I think the dollar bullish case right now, this week will be very interesting. We have Jackson Hole this end of the week, which will give us some insights, some commentary on where the Fed is at. But I think a lot of fear is that, people are expecting kind of just this round off on the dollar where, interest rates would stay at where they're at, and then they'd start to come down. Now, I think the kind of the scary thing is, are interest rates going to go up or stay where they're at for a prolonged period of time, right? Because there's two sides to that, interest rate story. It's raising rates, cutting rates, but then it's also, holding rates at an elevated level for a long time is causing some fear, because it's like, well, stocks are going to get hit by that. Companies are going to, that's cutting right into their profit margins. And, that could lead to people getting laid off and potential recession fears. And so, we're kind of in that headspace right now. At least that seems to be the narrative.
Well, I have seen the data lately, which has been better than expected. Which would support that case of what if we have higher rates or this rate level for higher period of time. Yeah, but there's two ways to look at it. Are we going, because it's all about future rates, right? It's all about, are we able to see where we're going to be in 3 to 6 months, which is the market is always going to think about. Yes, now we're going to probably peak that a bit higher or take that dollar a bit higher, but what is the future going to be down the line? Because somebody asked you about, would you trade two countries with the same interest rate, and you said yes, and the answer to that is yes, but it depends on the rate projections. If one is going to increase and one is going to decrease or peak, sure, fine, but with both it's going to increase going forward, no. So for me, I'm still on a dollar bearishness move. I think it's going to fall at some point, which is still a bet, and still just what do you call it? I'm imagining a thing that I'm expecting to see, and I'm just waiting for that to come into works, and it hasn't happened yet. Sure. But also about losing jobs, as Powell said, we haven't lost as much jobs as they expected us to do with the rate hikes I have been seeing lately.
Yeah, no, I would classify myself as very neutral on the dollar at this point. I wouldn't say I'm like totally bearish, but I'm also not bullish. With the China situation too, I think there might be this kind of thing where everybody thinks the US economy is just going to stay super red hot, and that's also driving the dollar higher. Well, China's slowdown could have kind of contagious effects to the United States and, other places that, of course, do business with China. And that could cool the global economy a little bit and actually weaken the dollar, I think, as well.
Why? Why would China reducing affect America?
So the idea would be, if China is like the massive demander of oil and silver and copper and all these things, these natural materials, and that kind of is showing signs of slowing. The way I heard it on this podcast that I was on recently, the gentleman I was on, the OANA senior market analyst, he said they could potentially export their disinflation. So that slowdown in demand for everything could kind of be contagious and flood out in every direction. Will that have huge impacts in the US? It's probably going to be more dependent on what the Fed is up to than what China is doing, but it has, the potential to eventually take some of the attention of the Fed and maybe change some of their policy, just because, again, they are the second largest economy. They have a lot of potentially impactful things. If they're cutting their rates, if they're, seeing unemployment, if anything like that, there is that potential for some shared pain to other places.
Good answer. I know I put you on a pedestal there, but the very quick answer is, if China goes lower, euro subsequently has to then go lower, because they are the demander. And who is the biggest trading partner with Europe? America. But the other thing is, America is 75% of GDP is domestic. So it's not a great deal that China slows down, but it has more risk sentiment impact more than anything else.
See, this, everyone, is why we bring Ivan on the show. You bring traders together, and what happens is you get more insights and more knowledge being shared. And I think Ivan and I, we learn plenty from one another. I think I learn a little bit more from Ivan, but it is helpful to do that. And I think that that's why we do these shows, and that's why we do the shows the way we do them, right? This is a dialogue. This is conversational analysis together. A lot of fundamentals with Ivan, of course, which is very, I think, helpful. It's helpful to me. I know it's helpful, of course, to the audience as well. So Ivan, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Before you go, though, I just want to say, if anybody would like to do some coaching one-on-one with Ivan, he does offer that. He also does group coaching within our VIP group. So if you're already a VIP member with us, make sure that you're joining those coaching webinars that Ivan does. You can get in there and ask your questions. He does, he tries to answer questions. He's working with people who are all different levels of their trading. So, and again, of course, he does also have that one-on-one mentorship available. We're going to drop the link to his channel. Here it is. If you guys would like to subscribe to his YouTube channel for more Ivan content, make sure to do that. And again, say hello to him in the VIP group if you're there with us. Ivan, thank you for coming on the show, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. All
right. We'll see him next time. There he goes. Ivan FX, the man, the myth, the legend. Yes. Always good to have Ivan. Very, very fundamentals show for Ivan and I when we do it together. But I think it's useful to, build a good fundamental base for our week ahead. That's why we have him on Mondays. Gold here still tanking now, guys. Look at this. Gold fell apart. And I mentioned this a little bit to Ivan. I was thinking about a short trade here. I never entered it because I was, what is this? This is 8 o'clock, right? So I was just pulling into the office. And price is shooting through it. Before I could really get set up on my trading desk, I get in usually at the office around 7:30 or so. So I was setting up everything, answering my emails, and then I usually get into my trading before the live streams, and then we do the live stream. So by the time I looked at it, I accidentally dodged a trade that would have hit stop loss for me, because I would have entered here. I would have put my stop above here, and this literally would have been me this morning. And I would have been crying to all of you guys on YouTube about it. So in some ways, maybe I missed a content opportunity because everybody seems to love when I take losing trades. Hey, you know what? The algorithm loves when I take a loss, because then a lot of people love to, you should have done this. You could have won, you guys know that feeling. You know how like when you're trading and you feel these intrusive thoughts, your own, like, oh man, I should have closed out early, or I shouldn't have taken that trade, right? You know how you have those intrusive thoughts? The curse of YouTube as a creator is that not only do I have those intrusive thoughts, but I also have everybody else's intrusive thoughts coming at me. I'm not trying to, I know it sounds like I'm complaining. Honestly, you guys are massively supportive overall on this channel. Whenever I share losses, like 95% of the comments are like, no worries, Nick, you get them next time. And you guys are amazing for that. I'm not trying to complain. But of course, there are like the 5% of people that, sometimes they get under your skin. And hey, you know what? I can't complain. I chose the role. I put myself out there. So it is what it is. I'll tell you guys where I'm at with gold. I am looking for a breakout beneath the lows. If we get this breakout, I'm going to start going into watch mode, right? Pullbacks, sell off, right? This is a plan for me here today. I missed this move. I'm feeling a little sad about it. What's going on with the indices? Are the indices selling off with gold, or are they trading independent here? A little bit of a sell-off. NASDAQ is so strong here today. Look at this, up in 0.9%. US 30 dropping. Value stocks taking a hit. Tech stocks taking a different type of hit. Interesting. Yeah, tech stocks outperforming here today. Very interesting. Am I bullish? No, I'm on the sidelines for the fundamentals wise. I showed you guys this earlier, seasonal data, right? S&P 500 still a little sketch as we go into September. Seasonally a tough time for indices, so I might kind of be on the sidelines for the S&P. But again, this seasonal trends are one thing that we look at. If you guys watch the streams and the shows and my videos and stuff, I'm always looking at the watch list. This watch list is what I'm genuinely looking to buy and sell off of. I'm using this as my bias, and then I go find technical setups based on my strategy. Okay. Breezy says, I want you to win, Nick. I appreciate you, Breezy. I appreciate everybody who is, just a little public service announcement. for my channel and for anybody else's channel, if you guys ever have the opportunity to throw out comments that are positive, just support your creators. It really goes a long way. You know, I've weathered the storm for years as, you know, a content creator. And like I said, I genuinely am so thankful to have an audience. But anytime you can say something nice to a creator, it really helps, because again, it's hard to put yourself out there. S&P 500. So again, like what I'm saying is, whether it's my channel or somebody else, try and throw out nice things to your favorite channels, because I'm telling you, people read those comments and people read nasty comments, and when you write a nice comment, it helps to make it a little easier to do it. S&P 500 breaking out here nicely. Pullback though. You know, am I bullish? Like I said, no, it's not on my watch list. I can't really trade this. Gold is bearish, so that's one that I'm really probably interested in. What about the euro? Are we seeing euro break down here today? We are seeing euro. Again, I missed this one as well. Yeah, my resistance level here. Gregory says, love your content. Thanks, Gregory. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, euro for me probably would have to be retest up in here. There's a lot of things that I have bias on, but I just don't have setups ready. So that's where I'm at. If I take any trades, you guys will see them inside of Discord. If you're not inside of the Discord group, here's a few things for you. We do have a free Discord channel available. In the free Discord, you can get some daily analysis, some free PDFs and downloads that might be really helpful to you. So if you would like to join the free Discord, we're going to drop a link in the chat here now. Nick, your hair is on point. Got the one curl hanging down and everything. I don't even think that's intentional. I do kind of have wavy hair, and, you know, made my Sunday. I went to get a haircut yesterday, and the lady at the barbershop, she was like, you have very wavy hair. That's very lucky. And I was like, wow, really? Thank you. That made my day. Anyways, so like I said, euro sell off here. I'd probably have to wait for a pullback before I can really trade this one, but I am pretty bearish on it. I think it has potential to keep going lower, right? 4-hour chart looks pretty clean. We broke through clean on you know, higher time frame support. We've been trading underneath it, and I like this rejection here this morning. So if we double back, I might need to take a closer look at the euro. So yeah, best trading channel by far. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate you. So yeah, guys, also the other thing I'll drop here in the chat for you, I just joined, if you haven't joined the free Discord, we just dropped that a second ago. But if you would also like to try out the software tools that we're using, you know, if you watch this stream and you were like, I like that seasonal trend data, or you want access to the commitment of traders data that we talked about, right? We looked at, you know, what gold was doing and the indices and things like that. If you would like access to this stuff, you can actually try it out for free. We also have a free training course on how to use the software. Click this link we're going to drop in the chat now. This link will allow you to check out the EDGEFINDER for free. So click this link, fill out this form if you're interested in that. Nick, how much for a one-on-one with you? Honestly, this sounds so rude and condescending, but I have so many things going on. You know, we're a software company. You know, I'm in the trade room, the live room. I run this YouTube channel. I'm a super busy person. I work way too much. So I don't really do one-on-ones. And if I did them, the price would be really disrespectful. It would sound like rude. So I don't really do one-on-ones. However, if you genuinely want to work closer with me, you're welcome. If you're a member within our Discord, join us in the Discord. Max, if you're not in the Discord, join us, because if you join the Discord, you'll be able to see the trades being shared by myself and my team. So you can see every trade that I'm taking, full breakdowns. You can also shoot me a DM and I'll try and answer as fast as I can. You can also see Frank's trades. You could join our chat room. We do coaching webinars where you can actually ask your questions and work with people in a group setting. So again, if you are interested in that, if you need some help in your trading, if you're looking to get involved, please feel free to join us. We'd love to have you in the group. We're looking for serious traders. We don't want people who are like just looking to copy or blind copy or anything like that. If you're actually really interested in trading and you would like to see the trades we're taking and why, those are the types of people we are trying to attract to our group. And so again, what I'll do here is, Chandler beat me to it. Thank you, Chandler. I've got a producer who is helping us out with the links here. If you guys want to ask questions about the mentorship offerings that we have in the group, right? The coaching webinars, if you want to see or hear more about the trade alerts and past performance and what the chat rooms entail, please feel free to send us a message here as we close out the show. There will be someone on my staff who is, a real person. You're not going to talk to a robot. If you click that link, you'll be able to ask us more about the membership group that we currently have going on. Yeah, Max, like I said, would love to see inside of the group, and anybody else who is considering, some sort of group that they can learn more, consider joining us. I'm telling you, it is worth the cost. I say that confidently every day. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. I hope you got something out of this show. Hope you learned something here. And I want to just encourage you, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We do these Monday through Friday. Today was a long show. Hope you got plenty out of it. I know I did. And we'll see you guys back next time. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching the show. But before you go, we are officially dropping a 100% free trading course for people who are looking to get better in their trading and learn about things like technical analysis and fundamental analysis and risk on and risk off and sentiment analysis and risk management. We have so many different topics, and we have compiled a library for you guys 100% for free. So let's go through some of the stuff here. We have technical analysis handbook. We have the risk on, risk off guide, a trading template or plan template if you need help building a trading plan, technical analysis playbooks. So definitely check this out. Again, link down below in the description. We have so much free value on our site here. I highly encourage you guys to take advantage of this free resources, and I hope that they genuinely are very helpful. You have economic figures, you have lessons on this, monetary policy. This is a big one. Retail sentiment versus smart money, seasonal trends, geopolitical events. For currency traders out there, we have some lessons here on volatility, which pairs to trade for newer traders, the highest to lowest risk things, moving averages. We also have technical guides, the fundamental analysis side of this stuff. Again, you can get access to this with the link in the description. You can see we have guides on support and resistance, trend lines, moving averages, candlesticks, MACD indicator, relative strength index, candlestick patterns. I mean, this is stuff that I wish I had at my disposal when I was getting into trading, and now you guys do. So again, take advantage. And I just want to say yet again, thank you guys so much for being such an incredible audience. Enjoy these resources.